Good evening. Today is Friday, April 23, 2021, here in Davao City, Philippines. I am Ace Perez, and welcome to the Talking Heads, where we discuss current and relevant issues in our community straight from the news sources. Following the official announcement of the country's Weather Bureau Pag-asa that the dry season has started late March, more and more tourists visit the province of Davao Oriental. But what is the provincial government is doing to balance health and tourism? Meanwhile, for the good news, Police Lieutenant Kenneth Van Encabo, a Dabawenyo, was honored as the top four of the Philippine National Police Academy or PNPA Hinirang class of 2021. Now, to discuss our first topic for this episode, we are joined tonight by Dr. Reden Bersaldo, the head of the Davao Oriental Provincial Task Force on COVID-19. Maayong gabi, Doc,
Yes,
and welcome to the Talking Heads.
Maing gabi, Sir Ace. Good evening to all our listeners and viewers of Talking Heads through Sunstar Davao. It is an honor to be part of your program, although my lighting is not quite good. Nonetheless, I am very, very privileged to be part of your program for tonight.
Yes, thank you, Kai, for your time in advance, Doc. Now, to start our discussion, Doc, how are we, if you are going to describe no, ang kaning situation, COVID-19 situation sa Davao Oriental, how are we doing a year into the pandemic? Kumusta?
Yes. For more than a year already since we COVID started and then we started doing our community quarantines in Davao Oriental, we have had several challenges already, but right now, presently, we can say that the COVID situation in Davao Oriental is under control. As of today, we only have 24 active cases in the province, and we have, along with Davao Occidental, we have the highest recovery rate at 96%, higher than the overall recovery rate of the Davao region at 92.2%. Also, when it comes to case fatality ratio, our case fatality ratio in Davao Oriental is at 2.9% compared to the overall case fatality ratio of the whole Davao region, which is at 4.2%. And then right now, we are still doing active surveillance and then contact tracing in our province. We already have our QR code, which is, although it faces a lot of challenges in the implementation, but it somehow helped really in the contact tracing of our cases in the province. And then we are still continuing with our efforts of doing risk testing in the different local government units of Davao Oriental. So as the incident commander of the province, I can basically say that we have COVID-19 situation in the province under control.
Yes, that's good to hear, Doc, no, that the COVID-19 situation in Davao Oriental and the province of Davao Oriental is already controlled. And for you, Doc, ano ba nato ni ma-attribute? Where can we attribute this the lowering of cases here in Davao Oriental? Where can we attribute it?
Come again, sir. Come again, please.
Where can we attribute
Come again, sir.
the lowering of cases in Davao Oriental? Ito na to ma-attribute kaning pag-iingon nato na controlled na ang
Yes.
cases.
Yeah, the biggest challenge that we had was post-holiday, actually, no? When we had a surge of cases in the province of Davao Oriental. That was when, in fact, the provincial hospital, the Davao Oriental Provincial Medical Center, was locked down for two weeks. Duha dito kasi semana nga nag-lockdown because our health workers were infected. So I believe the biggest factor why we are able to control the COVID cases in the province of Davao Oriental is, number one, aggressive contact tracing. Long before the start of COVID, during the start of COVID, we are the first province, we were the first province actually who initiated contact tracing training. So, sa kada LGU na mo sa Davao Oriental, namin na form ng mga contact tracers na plus the province of Davao Oriental, through the efforts of Governor Nelson Hinirang, purchased 10,000 kits of RT-PCR swab tests. So that's why we are also actively testing suspects, contacts, and even positive cases cases in the province of Davao Oriental. So madali na kung masikop because we have contact tracers, we have isolation units. All our LGUs have isolation units, including all our district hospitals. And also, we have enough kits, swab kits, and PPEs to provide for our health workers. Medyo nakuratan lang gid may initially atong post-holiday na nag-surge may nag-grabe ang cases. In fact, there was one day that we had a total of 50 new cases in one day, the highest in the province. And then we had a total of more than 200 active cases. Wala mi naanad-ana. Thank God that we were able to pull the cases down by aggressive contact tracing and also active surveillance, isolation, and then testing of all their contacts.
All right, Doc. Based on your active contact tracing no and surveillance, what were the root causes of the clustering of cases, especially katong post-holiday season no? Unsa ang mga root causes kasagaran?
Yes. Yes. The main cause of clustering talaga, I think the biggest, I think it was really found out that one of the most common causes of transmission is eating out together, especially in hospitals, in offices, eating out together. Because when you eat out together, you take off your mask and then magsige mo og storya. And that's the time for the virus to be transmitted. In fact, one LGU in the province of Davao Oriental, where in the whole office, all the employees of one office were infected, and then subsequently the whole LGU ang community na mismo. So it was a case of massive community transmission. So we had to lock down and put the LGU under GCQ also, so to restrict movement of the people. So isa na siya sa mga causes of clustering of cases. Another one is also in hospitals, like what happened in two of our hospitals here in Davao Oriental, in DOPMC and in Camillos. No, there were cases wherein the healthcare worker didn't report symptoms ahead of time. No, nag-duty gihapon mas iba na anay symptoms. So it was a learning curve for all of us. So after we were able to lock down the hospital and reopen the hospital after a 2-week lockdown, ang mas intensify pa ang health declaration for monitoring as well as all other measures and health protocols para dili siya mausog.
All right. So Dr. Reden was saying no na eating out together mo siya ang major reason of the clustering of cases in Davao Oriental and even in other areas as according to the articles no and studies conducted. Now, Doc, let's go to the vaccination rollout in Davao Oriental. So how are we doing? Kumusta? Ilan naka percentage ato ang vaccination?
Yes. Thank you, Ace. For the risk vacuna and the vaccination program of Davao Oriental, we are currently still on the A groups of priority groups, no, for vaccination, meaning they are our frontline healthcare workers. They are the healthcare workers manning our isolation facilities, our hospitals, the BHERTs, the BHWs, including the non-hospital institutions, no, like mga private clinics. That's who we are vaccinating right now. As of today, out of the 9,500 plus target population for 8 groups, no, in Davao Oriental, we have vaccinated almost 60% of them already. No, for the first tranche of Sinovac vaccines that were given to us, that is around 600 vials, we were able to vaccinate 99.66% of them with 2 vials na wastage kasi nag-lock ang auto-disabled syringe dayon. And then with the first batch of AstraZeneca na vaccines, we were able to utilize it at 106.46%. And then for the second dose, luckily DOH and the national government through PRRD has already given us the second dose for our Sinovac, and we have vaccinated already 94.31% of our first dose ka vaccinees. So as of today,
All right, I think Dr. Reden is having a difficulty sa connection. Dr. Reden, can you hear us clearly now? Okay, we will. I think we'll have to get back to Dr. Reden after this short break. All right, and we're back here on the Talking Heads. And earlier, Doctor then said no that the major causes of the clustering of cases in Davao Oriental and even in other in other provinces in Davao region is the eating out together, no, of our of people or individuals, and of course this they were able to, and on the vaccination updates, he said that out of the 9,500 target population, which is the healthcare workers in the province, they were already able to vaccinate or inoculate 60% of this figure. Now, before we get back to Dr. Reden, we'll now interview um, Police Lieutenant Kenneth Van Encabo. He is the top four of the Philippine National Police Academy or PNPA Hinirang class of 2021. Maayong gabi, Sir Kenneth, and welcome to the Talking Heads.
Good evening, Sir Ace. Good evening sa ato ang tanan listeners and viewers karon sa show nato.
All right. First of all, Sir, no, congratulations on your recent milestone, top four sa ano no, out of 200 plus na mga cadets sa PNPA class of 2021. Now with this recent milestone nimo, Sir, unsa man ang imuhang feeling or how are you feeling after this achievement?
Samo ang first year sa training, sir, up until fourth year, dili man gid nimo makita kung kinsa ang mag top 10 kasi it's a collective set of grades, set of activities na part sa consolidation sa final grades. We have our tactics and academics that you have to be proficient with both in order for you to be ranked first or ranked last in the class. Pero it does not undermine my other classmates kasi gagmay lang man pud ang amo ang biya kumbaga pa sa grades
Mm-mm.
na. But I am still feeling blessed and I'm happy for the opportunity na gatag ako sa PNPA. At first, I just wanted to train and graduate sa institution pero the feeling na nag-top 4 ko and I got the Journalism Kampilan Award also in my graduation, I think it's already a bonus with regards sa ako ang gipangandoy sa unang panahon.
All right, Sir Ken. Now, before you entered PNPA, kumusta ba ang imuhang kinabuhi no? How's your life? And what asa ba ka busy before PNPA, before you entered the academy?
Sa ako ang college year, sir, I was a working student. So, tung nag-college ko sa Holy Cross of Davao College, I was working with a private school before as an assistant teacher, and eventually I transferred to the call center industry and the online ESL teaching before. I was doing that for around 5 years up until the time of my graduation in college and also when I took up my master's degree at the University of Southeastern Philippines. However, wala na ko nahuman ang ako ang master's degree. Nag-proceed ko sa PNPA way back 2016. I started applying for the academy and mo na to, sulod ko sa PNPA.
When you applied for PNPA ba, Sir, nadawat ba ka dahil or were there a series of applications na and series of applications before ka nakapasok sa PNPA?
Well, for applicants of PNPA, sir, and I think for most of the people who are really educating themselves about the academy
Mhm.
and who are really aspiring to be a cadet, kabulo sila na in entering every year, there are around 20,000 to 25,000 applicants
Thanks.
nationwide. Yes, sir. And that first phase is the cadet admission test. We have the PNPA cut na gina-organize sa PNPA to be administered in the entire country by region. So nag-take og exams ang mga cadet applicants dira, after which the next stage is the neuropsychiatric exam. Mabilin ana sir, nasa 2,000 na lang out of 20,000 applicants. And then after neuropsychiatric exam, that's the time that all applicants will be having their physical and mental test, kumbaga pa battery test, in order to check if they
Mhm.
are physically well in undergoing the training of PNPA. After that, sir, mabili na lang nasa 500, and that's the time that they will have the final interview. Taas siya na process, sir.
Mhm.
And every year, the quota of the PNPA is only around 300, depending on the number of graduates from the previous class, because the PNPA can only cater 1,050 cadets every year. All classes na siya, sir.
Mhm. So dili
So,
gid
mo
ay it's not that easy, no, when you enter PNPA. So daghang there's a lot of processes that you have to to apply, and to kailangan mapasa nimo siya, mapass nimo siya ng mga series of applications. Now, Sir Ken, kumusta ba ang kaning, or you were kaning a debater, di ba, and a campus journalist even before you entered PNPA. So how does being a debater and a campus journalist help you in your journey in PNPA?
when way back in my high school years, sir, I was an active member of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. Editor-in-chief ko before sa national jamborees sa akong high school life, and in college years na ko, sir,
Mm.
I was one of the debaters of the Holy Cross debating team under Coach Musico before. I'm not sure if he's listening right now, pero I want to acknowledge his contribution in my life, in training me and in helping me also to prepare for my future endeavors. When I was in PNPA, I was an active member of the PNPA Moot Court and Debate Team. I was the team captain in my fourth year of studies here. And also, I'm the editor in chief of the PNPA for our core publications, the official publications of the Cadet Corps Philippine National Police Academy. It helped me in a way that I was guided with a series of responsibilities in order for me to be transparent and to practice my leadership skills with my subordinates. And also, it helped me to be with responsible people and mentors in my life. Some of the people I have been working on with before sa kuang life sa PNPA Moot Court and Debate Team, as well as sa core publications, were also top graduates of their respective classes.
Mhm.
Just like Police Captain Enka, the top one of class 2017, uh, PNPA 2018 top one also, Police Lieutenant Balyador, Police Lieutenant Ramos, top one of 2019, and Fire Inspector Palermo, our team captain way back sa 2020 in the PNP Moot Court and Debate team. So it really guided and helped me, sir.
Okay. Now, Sir Ken, is it really your dream, no, a childhood dream ang kaning pag-enter sa PNPA?
I would say yes, sir. Kasi bata pa ko sa una, ginadala ko sa ako ang papa sa regional training school sa Mintal, Davao City, in the regional training school of PPSC and NPC, National Police College. He was teaching before commissioned officers also, and it opened my eyes in the perspective of public service and law enforcement. So, moto na karon ko og mga reflection over the years, and
Mm.
daghang nagapangutana sa kuha why education if I wanted to become a police officer. And I think this is also one of the medium or one of the media that I can share that law enforcers are not just graduates of criminology. Law
Mm.
enforcers are multi-skilled and multi-talented people who are good at mentoring, peacekeeping, nation building, and also counter-terrorist and counter-criminal activities na to. So education as my background would help me to become a better mentor and a better leader in the future also.
Yes, na and it's really good to know no, that your father really influenced you in entering the academy and with your dream of becoming a law enforcement officer and official. Now, Sir Ken, let's talk about your journey inside the academy. So, kumusta ang mga ang imong training inside the academy and what are your challenges and difficulties you encountered over the years?
Pinakalisod na adjustment sa PNPA before, sir, pagsulod nimo is, of course, the regimented way of living, on which kailangan sabay-sabay mo matulog, mumata, mag-formation, personal accounting, inspection every Saturdays. Like, we are bombarded with a lot of activities every day. Every day, we wake up at 4 a.m. and we have our morning routine. We have our reveille exercises. We run for about 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers daily sa Kadlawon, and then after which we will be preparing for our academic instruction up until afternoon. Also, there are limitations with regards to the use of gadgets. We don't have our phones inside the academy. We only have our laptops for academic purposes, and it's a challenge, especially sa special occasions sa family and loved ones. Dili ka makagreet, dili man lang ka kumusta sa aming pamilya. Pero you have to be motivated with all these things. And lastly is physical and mental exhaustion siguro, sir. And I think these are things that I consider as challenges but also help me to be the kind of person I am now.
Mm-mm. So indeed no daghan kayong mga challenges na naagian ang usa ka cadet inside the academy and it takes a lot of commitment, discipline and sacrifice because you mentioned na you cannot always connect or contact your families and loved ones no, during when you're inside the academy. Now, you ranked fourth no out of 200 more than 200 cadets in your class and asa nimo ni gina dedicate na milestone sa imong kinabuhi?
Well, of course, sir, I dedicate this milestone first and foremost to my family and God. Every day in my journey inside the PNPA, I always take it as a mantra to live one day at a time. And every day, I always pray lang yun, sir. Like, we always pray and thank God for the opportunity and for surviving one day. And then also, gimotivate na akong sarili sa pagunahon na sa akong pamilya na if they were proud na nakasulod ko, they will become prouder if I will finish this challenge sa ko ang kinabuhi. And sa mga tao na nagsuporta sa kuha, nag-guide sa kuha, I dedicate all these achievements sa ilahang tanan.
All right. And after your graduation, your graduation happened last April 21, di ba?
Yes.
What are your future plans after PNPA?
After PNPA, sir, of course, we are auto-report to our respective assignments. As officers, we cannot select or we cannot make decisions where to be assigned because as part of our responsibilities as officers, we can be assigned anywhere in the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao, depending on the national headquarters order. However, I promise though to serve well and do well with my future endeavors as an officer of the Philippine National Police, but it will not stop me from kumbaga pa pursuing another sort of journey. I wanted to study further, sir, especially sa ako ang award na nadawat last graduation. I was given a full scholarship at the Ateneo de Manila University for their master's program in the School of Governance. I would probably try to take up such if time permits and also pursue law school if over time magkaroon ako og free schedule.
Well, it's a good luck for your future plans, Sir Ken. And before we let you go, no, what are your message to the aspiring cadets watching us right now? So, unsa imong message sa ilaha?
Ako alang ma-advise sa tanan mga gusto magkadete, sir, is to just go for it. I mean, there is nothing wrong in trying. However, if you try, do your best. And also, do not just build goals or set goals for yourself. However big your goals are, if you do not have a good system and good habit, wala gyud mahitabo. Every big accomplishment starts with a small step. Ibig sabihin, if you equip yourself with good foundations, like start small, develop yourself in the simple things, eventually it will yield you bigger things in life. Mao lang to, sir.
All
Salamat.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Police Lieutenant Kenneth Van Aligasin and Cabo. And we really believe no, that you inspired a lot of aspiring cadets who would like to follow your path in the academy. Okay. Thank you so much for your time and
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
God
sir.
bless for your future plans.
Thank you, sir.
All right. From Police Lieutenant Kenneth and Cabo, we'll go back to Dr. Reden, Bersaldo, Davao Oriental Police Task Force on COVID-19 head. We will continue our discussion. Hi, Doc, and welcome back to the
Hi,
show.
hi. Sorry for the interruption a while ago because of the internet connections as usual. This is what we get
Yes.
when we do virtual meetings like this. Nonetheless, I'm back. So
Mm-mm.
my
All right,
apologies
so
to everyone, all our listeners and viewers. Yes, we were talking
no
about
problem.
the vaccination. I think
The
we were done
vaccination. Oh,
during the vaccination rollout.
yes, Doc.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Doc. You mentioned earlier that 60% of the 9,500 target population for
Yeah,
the healthcare workers were already inoculated. Now, Doc, were
correct.
there refusals na nahitabo during the vaccination?
Yes, yes. There were cases of refusal, especially during the first tranche of vaccination of Sinovac and also
Mm-mm.
AstraZeneca. The main causes or reasons for refusal during the time is number one, there were frontline healthcare workers who were previously infected with COVID-19. So the first advisory given to us by DOH when the vaccination was rolled out was we have to wait 90 days before they will be given the first dose of vaccine. However, right now, it has been revised already that advisory. So pwede na matagaan og vaccine even if you had been infected with COVID-19 as long as you have completed your treatment or you have recovered already. So initially, mao to
Mm-mm.
ang isa sa mga reasons for refusal. Another common reason for refusal is the presence of comorbidities in these priority groups, including cases of
Mm-mm.
diabetes, hypertension,
Hypertension.
cardiac illnesses, and then histories of
Mm.
allergies. But DOH has already provided advisories, especially coming from the experts, the allergologists, as well as the cardiologists, and several meetings and virtual presentations were already done in order to clarify these issues. So during the second, third, and fourth tranches, medyo kampante na ang mga healthcare workers to be vaccinated also. So
Mm-mm.
another reason for refusal is of course during the first batches of vaccinees that were given the vaccines, whether it's Astra or Sinovac, na ay uban sa ilaha na nag-AAFI or adverse event following immunization, including na yung mga nag-fever, na ay mga nagsakit ang ulo, or na ay mga mild rashes, but these are all mild adverse effects, which ultimately resolve in a matter of days also lang, no? And then, nakita na siya sa uban, so medyo nahadlok sila. But we assured everyone, including our frontline health workers in the hospital, na walay angay kagulan. That's why during the vaccination process, we have counseling. No? Importante yun nga i-counsel ang atong mga vaccinees in such a way that they will be assured that the vaccines are safe, that they are well taken care of, especially during the post-monitoring of the vaccination.
Bahin sa
All right. So
COVID-19.
that's for the update now of the vaccination rollout in Davao Oriental. Now we'll jump to the issue talk about the summer. So it is expected that a lot of tourists in Davao region or in nearby provinces and regions we're really visiting Davao Oriental because Davao Oriental is home to a lot of tourist attractions. Now, how are we? What are the measures implemented by the provincial government to avoid transmission or local transmission?
Yes, thank you, Sir Ace. We were quite, the province of Davao Oriental was quite controversial during the Holy Week season, no? Because we were very
Mm-mm.
strict, especially in the border. In fact, daghan ang nagreklamo sa Facebook, and then daghan mga complaints kamong nadunggan about nga nung stricto ra kayo ang Davao Oriental, because we were really very particular with the QR code implementation at the provincial border, no? So taas kayo ang pila, but we studied the after effect of the Holy Week season. And right now, after the Holy Week, we observe the cases of um, active cases in Davao Oriental. Kung mag-surge gani after
Mm-mm.
2 weeks Holy Week, after 2 weeks after Holy Week, medyo makulbaan gyud. But right now, we are still at 24 to 30-ish na active cases in Davao Oriental,
Active case.
the usual that we get. So we are quite confident we were able to control the cases of surge in Davao Oriental during the Holy Week season. So what we are doing right now, especially in the summer season na
Mm-mm.
is fast approaching, is not so much with tightening and very strict at the provincial border. So dili namin nag-implement of QR code at the border strictly, but we will still be implementing QR code monitoring in the establishments themselves. So it is very important that the tourist resorts, whether they're private or government, should have QR codes in their establishments. Another one is we will be very, very strict with the booking requirements. We have long issued, Governor Dayan Hinirang had long issued the executive order on no booking, no entry to resorts. So we are just going to implement it strictly, especially during the summer season. No, another one is of course the strict implementation and following of minimum health protocols, including the use of face mask, physical distancing, especially if within the crowd. Kung naara mo sa inyo hang mga pamilya nga mo ato sa mga resort, we can fairly say nga medyo safe mo ana. So as long as you won't interact and you won't mingle with the other groups of people in the resort, no? So that's
Mm-mm.
very important to keep your distance, especially with strangers. And ang pinaka-advise namo at this time, since we are still not safe with COVID-19, even if some of our frontliners have already been vaccinated, is to just stay at home. No, this pandemic will end. Eventually, this will end. Mahuman na gid siya. We just have to be patient. We just have to find some enjoyment and some diversification na diha lang sa ato ang mga balay. We can spend more time with our family and not necessarily go out. No, that is not to discourage going to Davao Oriental. Basically, kasi we know that Davao Oriental is a very, very beautiful province. But if ever you will be going to Davao Oriental, please follow health protocols and as much as possible, self-police yourself, self-regulate yourself. No, musunod kita dili kay magpabuyag ta nga musunod tag resort nga walay mga mask, etc. Or magkiat pag-ayo. That's it.
All right, Doc, you mentioned about you're not that very strict no in terms of border province in requiring QR codes, and we really amplify or amplify our campaign sa no QR code and no booking, no entry on resorts. So how kumusta ang mga resorts, Doc? Are they compliant when it comes to this policy of the province?
Yes. Like what I've said during the start of COVID when I became the incident commander, there is no perfect system in terms of controlling COVID-19 because this is a unprecedented pandemic, no? Wala pa ni siya nahitabo sa una. So, it would be hypocritical to say that we have a perfect system in Davao Oriental. So, na-adjoy mga cases wherein resorts or even individuals defy or do not follow health protocols, no? Including the use of QR code or no booking policies. That's why, ang gibuhat sa COVID Task Force in Davao Oriental, we formed an inspection team or a joint inspection team which inspected the different resorts in all the 11 LGUs of Davao Oriental. In fact, the head of the Joint Inspection Team, which is the Provincial Tourism Office, headed by Miguel Trosio, has already provided us with the report, no, of all their findings in the resorts. And then during the Holy Week season, katong peak of
Mm-mm.
visitors in Davao Oriental, our inspectorate team also went around the different resorts to inspect. And in fact, I already have photos of violations in some resorts and establishments in which I will be presenting to the different local chief executives of Davao Oriental for their action. Because the COVID Task Force of Davao Oriental is just a recommendatory body, no? Whatever findings that we will be able to gather, we will also report them to our local chief executives, particularly to our mayors, for their appropriate actions.
And so far, Doc, with your talks with the local executive, what are the penalties to be rendered no, sa mga resorts and other accommodation facilities and establishments na milapas ani nga policy?
Yes, so far, in fact, one of the findings kamong nakuan was a government facility, no, owned by the province. During our inspection, nakita namo nga there were um, violations in the following of the health protocols. So I reported it right away to our provincial governor, kay Governor Hinirang, and we are very lucky to have a local chief executive, a governor who really follows the health protocol. So immediately he ordered for the closure and the renovation of this particular resort, no,
Mm-mm.
of this particular government tourism facility. So we just soft opened the facility during the Holy Week season, no? So soft opening na nahitabo, and then right now I believe it has already been in full operation. So gi-follow sa ato ang gobernador, the Governor Deng ang tanang recommendation sa task force, including
Mm-mm.
adding more personnel to man the following of health protocols and other measures.
All right. And Doc, just to clear, no, sa katong mga tourists who want to visit Davao Oriental, so what unsa jud ang step-by-step procedures in entering the province? So unsa imong kailangan i-require mga requirements na kailangan i-comply to enter smoothly, no, the province?
Yes. Number one, it is very important that you will have a booking, prior booking to all the resorts that you will be visiting or coming in. No booking,
Mm.
no entry. Number two is for you to have a QR code. Right now, we are still experiencing glitches in our system, no? But if in case na you will be applying for a QR code, please contact the resort owners or the local tourism office so that we can extend help in approving your QR code in our system. Number
Mm.
three, you have the resorts. This is on the part of the resort owners. They will have to coordinate all the time with the local tourism office. Not only with the provincial tourism office, but also with the local tourism office. Number four, all the visitors and our tourists coming into Davao Oriental must follow and strictly follow minimum health protocols, including the use of face mask, face shield,
Mm.
alcohol, and of course, physical distancing. If you are already vaccinated, much better, no? And number
Mm.
five, if you have the option, please stay at home.
Yes. But a lot are asking, Doc, pwede na ba ang mga bata to enter or to visit Davao Oriental na with their
Yes,
parents or guardians?
yes. During the Holy Week, also, we were very strict with the following the APOR
Mm.
na palisiya, no? Authorized persons outside of residence. Meaning, katong mga less than 15 years old and more than 65 years old, wala gid na mo gipasulod sa probinsya sa Davao Oriental. However, nakita
Mm.
na mo during the Holy Week nga naagihapoy mga resorts and other establishments nga nagapalusot yun sa mga non-APOR. I have pictures of resorts nga na ay mga bata, no, na nakasulod sa ila. And in fact, these will be findings that I will be giving to the local chief executives in the next few days. So, especially during that summer season, it is very important to follow the National Inter-Agency Task Force policy of APOR. So, we will
Mm-mm.
still not be allowing non-APOR individuals to be with to be visiting the resorts and
Mm-mm.
tourist destinations in Davao Oriental. So ibirin gapo ng mga bata o gatong mga tigulang, no?
Yes, especially for
Please
leisure
take
travel.
yes, especially with those with comorbidities. Please take note that the provincial COVID
Mm-mm.
task force sur- may have surprise visits in these resorts one of these days in order to really see if the executive orders and provincial ordinances are followed to a T.
Yes, um that's um that's Dr. Reden saying no na they will be having a surprise visit sa mga resorts in the province. So might as well know sa mga resorts and resorts owners listening and watching it right now to really strictly follow all the COVID-19 protocols, health safety, and minimum health protocols. Now, Doc, in Samal, the local government unit of Samal, no, has lowered their operational capacity sa mga resorts nila from 75% to 60%. So are we following the same move sa province of Davao Oriental? Are we recommending this also to Governor Dayang Hirang?
Yes, by the way, Ace, we have followed the 50%, no,
Ah, okay.
capacity for resorts in Davao
Mm-mm.
Oriental. It may be violated sometimes by some resort owners, but the provincial executive order as well as the ordinance has always been 50% capacity for these resorts.
Okay, so that's 50% capacity, no? No, Doc, kaning, it's a very in topic, no? An issue this week. Kaning ginatawag nato na community pantries. So, are there community pantries set up by private individuals, no, in the province? And how are we regulating this? Are we supporting community pantries in the province?
Yes, right now, although I've been seeing it in Facebook and in YouTube about this community pantry, that is a very laudable na
Mm-mm.
effort, no? Especially in the National Capital
Initiative.
Region where there is a surge of cases, no? That they really need to be quarantined and to limit the movement of people. So that is where I believe the concept of community pantry came in. But right now in Davao Oriental, since we are in MGCQ, we're except for those non-APOR, the 15 to 65 years old can go around to buy essential needs, to do the daily works, and most of our establishments are already open, and people can go on with their usual activities, and businesses are also open for operation. So right now, we still don't have the community pantry, and as per assessment by the COVID task force, there is no need to set up a community pantry in Davao Oriental as of yet, no? Because it's basically a free moving activity right now with compliance to the minimum health protocol lang because we are currently under MGCQ.
All right,
Yes.
so that's clear. Doc, no, but before we end this program, Doc, we would like to ask for your parting message, and before we wrap up this discussion, how do we ensure especially in the province of Davao Oriental, that we have balance of health and tourism?
Yes. Uh, tourism is basically a two-edged sword, no? Kung ato ang kung anon, it can be an advantage or a disadvantage to a certain province. Luckily in Davao Oriental, we we twist it to make it an advantage to us because in the whole Davao region, I think and I believe Davao Oriental is one of the most visited provinces in the whole Davao region because of our many offerings of tourist destinations. So we have to strike the balance no matter how tricky or how difficult it is with opening tourism for business and also maintaining the health um, the health status of our province. We hope nga unta magpadayon nga ang among cases sa probinsya tag-drop nalang sa 20s and 30s nga active cases. Di man punta makaingon nga 20s and 30s because we are not testing, because we are constantly testing. In fact, community risk testing with Misa Davao Oriental. So how do we ensure the balance? To ensure the balance between health and tourism in Davao Oriental, it does not rely only on our end. We are here, the COVID Task Force, Governor Hinirang, and all the mayors of Davao Oriental are here, and the local incident management teams are here to provide direction, executive orders, ordinances, and policies in order for the public to follow. However, if on one end, the public will not be following this, gahi kayong ulo, you will not self-police or self-regulate yourselves, we will all be in a losing end, no? So gihangyo nako ang tanang mga katauhan, all our listeners, all our viewers right now, that the fight for COVID has not ended yet. It is still ongoing, no? And right now, our frontline healthcare workers are already exhausted, no? It's been more than a year already since we've been fighting COVID, no? Daghanag mga nangamatay, daghanag mga nangasakit, mental health is suffering, no? And right now, people are trying to find ways to enjoy, to have fun. We do not condemn those activities. However, ang atua lang is we do traveling, we do visiting to other places responsibly. Simple lang kayo ang request sa probinsya sa Davao Oriental for you to book yourselves, for you to have a QR code. Kung maglisod mo o kuha sa QR code, please coordinate with the resort owners and the local tourism office so that you can be helped, especially with the online registration. And most importantly, this is from your end to please follow minimum health standard. Now, eventually, this COVID pandemic will end. Mahuman na gid ni siya.
All right, thank you so much. That's Dr. Reden Bersaldo, Davao Oriental Provincial Task Force on COVID-19 head. Daghang kayong salamat, Doc, and God bless. Keep safe.
Thank you.
All right, to check for more stories, visit our website, www.sunstar.com.ph/Davao, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and follow our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also grab a copy of Sunstar Davao at Davao Central Convenience Stores, 7-Eleven, and nearest news outlets. Again, this is Ace Perez, and this is The Talking Heads. Good evening and stay safe.